Cheers everyone, and welcome to another Blender and After Effects video. Today we're going to shoot someone in a green screen, remove the green screen and put it into our 3D environment. We're going to be using After Effects and Blender for that. Sup you phonies, and how's it going? And welcome to another video. And today we're gonna be working on a very cool medieval scene. It took a very long time to make, but I can break it down how you can make a scene like that yourself at home. So we are starting in After Effects. We have two layers of our green screen character. We're gonna pick a green close to our character. Then we're gonna switch it to screen matte, adjust the black levels, the white levels. And then the lower layer, we're just gonna use the color information from the upper layer, and then we have a clean mask. Now we need to draw a garbage mask. Now we're gonna adjust our edge a little, shrink the mask, make it a little softer. Now we're ready to put a LUT on it, just to put it into a normal color space. So it looks like, normal video and not like S-Log footage. That way it's going to be easy to match it in Blender afterwards. One last thing, we need to remove the spill, the green spill on our subject. I'm going to use advanced spill suppressor for that, set it to ultra, it's set to green, and it's gone. Now it's time to render this thing out. I recommend making yourself a preset, making sure that you render in ProRes 444 with an alpha. That's important. Render with an alpha, otherwise you're still gonna have the background in it. And as I said, make yourself a preset if you do something like that very often. Then you just render. Okay, since I don't want to make my throne room myself, I go to Sketchfab and look for a throne room which is free and looks pretty decent. I found that one. So now I'm gonna download it, bring it into Blender, have my little Miho in it so I have everything to scale. If everything looks alright, I'm gonna add my green screen character with images as planes. I'm gonna adjust the scale so he looks like in perspective and in the right scale, in the right position. Then I can just remove my little Miho. I'm also going to remove the actual throne because I don't like the way it looks, so I'm going to try to find a better design also on Sketchfab. So I'm just going to look for throne. I found that one, and now I'm just going to bring this one into Blender. I adjusted the scale, the position. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just good enough, and making sure the materials look all right. I see the sword material, he couldn't find the sword material, so I'm just gonna remove it because then it's just gray and it looks good. The next step is I'm gonna add my camera. I want the general camera movement, and I also want my green screen character tracked to my camera so it always rotates with the camera. I'm gonna adjust the length of my scene and where the camera is gonna end. It's very important to do the camera movement and the lighting first, because then you actually know what are you going to see in the end, so you know exactly how much detail you have to put into everything. Right now I'm starting with the spotlight. Eventually I'm going to change it into a sunlight because I want this light to simulate the moon. Also I'm going to add haze. I'm going to do that with a volume box, use a volume scatter on the box, and then it looks like this. Pretty awesome already. Again, right now I'm playing around with the spotlight, but in the end I decided to use a sunlight instead. Now I'm just gonna adjust my scene a little. I want flames to be in the background, so I have some kind of additional lighting, so I lit those candles on fire. Technically I removed the candles and replaced them with an image of, a fire. Now I want to destroy my little throne room a little. I want to make a few holes. For that I'm using an icosphere and make it a boolean so I can make holes into the building. Next step is I found some skeletons here. I'm just going to scatter skeletons all over my area. I'm going to start with one right on the stairs. So it's like it tries to reach the throne somehow for whatever reason, storytelling, who cares. So I'm going to adjust the position a little so it looks organic. And adjust all the little bones, have the arms hanging down. And also I wanted to add a little torch because details is what matters. So I'm also going to use one of my flames for the torch, so it's actually burning. So this is what my scene looks like right now. It's not bad. So now I'm just going to change the floor and add just all kinds of details. I want a few scratches in my pedestal. I copy pasted another torch, put it on the ground. I copy pasted a skeleton and scattered around skeletons all over the floor. Because while the camera is moving back, we're going to reveal that he is actually alone in this throne room. Very spooky. After I added a bunch of skeletons, I also want to add a few regular bodies and weapons, swords, all kinds of things, just to add more detail into my scene. And you can really tell the difference already in the way the throne room looked in the beginning, in the way it looks now already. Of course, I'm going to add more and more details. And right now I'm adding some bugs that around those corpses. There's bugs flying around, which is also very cool. I also added smoke next to the fires or in front of the fires. Now I'm going to add some extra light sources, basically adding more light. And you see through the Boolean, we have the moonlight shining in. You can see that very well through the volume, through the haze. So it looks very cool. Now it's time to add a little moss and plants, because they've been sitting there for a very long time. So I just copy paste a bunch, and it's very likely that you're not even going to see it, but it's always good to add more detail. And once you do it once, you can just copy paste it all over the place, which is very, very helpful. See, this is what it looks like now. I added more gravel and blood and little details and more flames and tables and scattered it all around. And that way I really bring the scene to life. And I gave him a little crown too. This is what it looks like from the other side. The Booleans made some holes in the ceiling. So now, and I have my little green screen guy, and this is what it looks like in the end. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about any of that, please let me know in the comments. I'm more than willing to help and answer those questions. If you have any suggestions how to make this better, please let me know too, because we are all learning here together, and I'm very excited about future projects, and see you in the next video. Toodaloo.